Hi, good evening, and welcome to the third episode of my paranormal and supernatural events that have happened to me in my life. Now, this one I went through from the time that I was, the 6, 7, 8, the UFO event. And I don't really recall anything of note happening to me again until this incident that I'm going to tell you about, which happened when I was, 13, 14, 15, somewhere in there. I don't remember. I know that my mom was driving the car, and I know that if I had been of driving age, I probably would have been driving the car. So I was less than 16, and I think I was probably about, 14, 15. And we lived in a town next to the beach. And my mom had bought a travel agency in a town nearby, and we had moved from inland California down to the ocean, which was amazing, and I lived there for many, many years ultimately and loved it. I don't live there now, but I did. So this night, Mom had turned around the travel agency, and it was being pretty prosperous, and so that allowed us to go out to dinner from time to time. And we had found somehow, I don't remember how, a restaurant down in the town of La Jolla, which was about a half an hour drive from us further down the coast. And so from time to time, we would drive all the way down to La Rancherita, which was probably about a 30-minute drive. This was on the Pacific Highway, and at this time there were 2 lanes going south and 2 lanes going north. And this area was next to the famed Torrey Pines golf course, which you can still, they still have tournaments and stuff there. I don't follow golf, but they did. They probably still do. So we make the drive past Torrey Pines golf course, and that down to, I think it's like maybe the University of San Diego or something, and there's a turn and you go down kind of a windy road down by the ocean, and eventually somewhere in La Jolla is La Rancherita, and I don't remember exactly where it is or know if it's even there still. Probably not. That was a long time ago. So we went and had our meal. I love chicken tacos. I always bought those. I think my mom always got a chili relleno. She really liked that. So we did that, and they had a jukebox, and Mom would give me money, and I could go select songs. And I remember my favorite song was a Mexican lady who sang this song, which was called La Paloma. And so I would play the music, and we'd talk and enjoy ourselves. We got along really well, and had a lot of fun together at that time. And so we finished our meal and decided to drive home. Came back up the way that we'd come down from La Jolla, and we're on this road going in the opposite direction, which was essentially north on the Pacific Coast Highway. At that time, now there are buildings there are businesses, there's street lights, there are all sorts of things that were not there in this time period. And if I was 12, this would have been, or 13 or so, would have been around 1969, 1970, maybe somewhere in there. So we are driving along this road. I think there a car or two passed by us going south, but I don't think anybody passed by us going north. And up ahead on the road, 2 lanes going in the same direction we are, and a large dog trotted into the road. Now, he was at maybe a quarter of a mile away, maybe less than that, maybe an eighth of a mile. It wasn't, I mean, certainly close enough to see the form of a dog. He looked gray. He looked like more like a greyhound with a not a shaggy dog, but a slender dog with long legs and a more streamlined body and a tail, and that kind of turned up at the end. And this dog, and I'm struggling to see what this dog is, because it didn't quite look like a usual dog, but I could not imagine, I didn't know what it was. And my mom is driving and she sees this same thing, and she told me later that that's what she had seen. And so we're driving and we're watching this dog, and I'm an animal lover, and I'm concerned because I'm thinking, oh no, where's this dog going? Where's his owner? Why is he out here? This is, we're gonna have to stop. I mean, all about this dog. And I'm watching him intently, and as I'm getting closer, I'm seeing that he's kind of gray, and I'm seeing almost, I don't know if it was like I could see through him, but when in my memory, he had sort of dark spots that could have been me just like seeing through him. So he trots into the middle of the road. He's kind of straddling the dotted lines, and we're watching him, and we start getting closer to the point where it's like, well, we needed to slow down here, which my mom did. And then the dog trots to the further to the left side of the road, and there's a dirt median between the 2 north lanes and the 2 south lanes. And before he got to the side of the road, he simply disappeared. So now we're wondering, what the heck was that? And we slow down and we look, and there's no dog, and there's not bushes, there's no place that he would be able to hide. And I said to my mom, did you see that? And she said, yeah, I saw that. And I said, what'd you see, Mom? And she said, I saw a dog that disappeared. And I said, yeah, I saw exactly the same thing. Well, that's interesting. So there was nothing to do. It wasn't a real dog. It wasn't somebody who needed a home or needed help. So we just drove home and certainly did talk about it a bit, but it just became, the fabric of our lives at that moment in time. But I remember that because when I have these experiences, what happens when you have an experience like that in general, and certainly with me, is that it's real, and it causes you to hyper focus, and you're sort of very in the moment. And when those things happen, then you remember the details forever. I mean, that was, 50 to 60 years ago for me. And I still remember it with great clarity because I had never seen such a thing before. And indeed, I've had experiences since then with entities and ghost people and visions and visionary dreams and things like that. But I have not ever, to this day, seen that quintessential ghost again, which was this dog with this gray dog on the road. So thank you so much for listening to this episode, and I will have another one for you. And please like and subscribe and share as I do my October paranormal and supernatural events in the lead up to Halloween. So thank you and good evening. God bless. Night night.